Hi, and welcome to the Not Your Normal Life show. I'm Naomi.
And I'm Aaron.
And this is where we talk about
the not so normal lives that we all live. Let's go. All right, welcome back.
Welcome back.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Naomi.
This is Not Your Normal Life.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I didn't want to go on my normal tangent. If you're new, welcome to the podcast. We're so glad that you guys are joining us. This is where we talk about the not so normal lives that we all live, as if you heard in that intro. But here we are on episode 34.
Yes.
We are coming up on a year of doing this podcast.
Yeah.
And it's probably been such... It's been such a fun endeavor to do. Like...
Yeah.
If you would have asked me like 3 years ago, like, oh, you and your wife are going to sit down every week and talk about weird topics or different topics, and you guys are just having a conversation, and then people all around the world are going to hear it, I would have told you you're crazy.
Yeah, I would have been like, I don't have time for that. Turns out we do.
We have lots of time because of COVID.
The COVID.
The COVID.
We're also sitting here at 8 p.m. drinking coffee.
Yeah, if you're listening to this isn't a live broadcast. We're not a radio station. We pre-record all of our stuff. Shocker.
They know that.
Shocker.
They hit play when they want.
Yeah.
But we're drinking coffee, and turns out drip coffee has less caffeine than an espresso shot.
Yeah, Odessa or Alexa that Naomi goes by, or Odessa. We just say Odessa if we don't want her to talk to us.
Yeah.
So we're here sitting. Our podcast room right now is just full of junk, and our son has literally taken it over. So we are in our kitchen right now recording because our podcast room has been taken over by our 6-year-old son. So
which also was my office, which was taken over by my son.
Yeah.
He has a lot of power in this house.
So, we're really excited. If you're listening to this right now, me and Naomi are taking a trip to Texas coming up. We're really excited.
We're going to take you with us.
We're going to take, not really. Well, you're going to listen to a podcast while we're gone, but we're going to be gone having fun while you guys are at home. But we're just going to go to Texas, hang out, have some fun. We need a vacation. Our cruise got canceled. So
we're supposed to go on a cruise for our 9-year wedding anniversary in April, but people don't get to cruise right now.
Oh my gosh, we're coming up on 9 years. Mm-hmm. I totally forgot. Next month.
No, you didn't.
I never do.
Aaron's really good at that kind of stuff.
So today we are talking on episode 34 of the Not Your Normal Life. We are talking about why self-care can be
dangerous.
Can be bad. Self-care in itself, you can actually do it right, and then also a lot of people do it wrong. So we just kind of want to sit and talk about that because it's like I notice on Facebook and Instagram, people always posting self-care is the right care. And most of the time they either are in a bubble bath or they have alcohol in their hand or they have gone shopping and they have a ton of bags.
Yeah.
And making probably the bad decisions in that situation. So we just want to talk about what's the difference between real self-care and what the world sees as self-care and how it possibly could be wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't like to take bubble baths with a glass of wine and a movie and candles and bonbons. Actually, I don't even know what bonbons are.
I don't either.
I like chocolate. But I like those nights. I think resting and relaxing like that is a component of self-care. I definitely think.
I agree.
I'm telling the people what I think.
Oh, I am agreeing though. I'm letting the people know that I agree with you.
Oh, good. But I don't think that's the only thing self-care is. Like self-care is so much more than sleeping in on the weekend and,
bubble baths,
binge watching movies all day. Like that's not self-care. Real self-care, and correct me if I'm wrong. What do you think, Aaron? I think real self-care is like doing the hard stuff you don't want to do. Like going to a therapist if you have some real anxiety issues. Self-care would be going to a therapist and talking through those things, talking through your depression.
Going to church, getting prayed over, having someone pray over you and digging into your word with the Lord. Yes, I totally agree with what you're saying. I think self-care can be put into like 3 categories, like your financial self-care, your physical self-care, and your spiritual self-care. And I think that's really important to see which of those forms of self-care, because we we are horrible sometimes at our finances, but we have gotten a lot better at them than we have been in the past. And we talk about that. But we got even better from that episode. We're even better at it. So that's great. But when it comes to financial, like self-care, sometimes people would want to spend money as a way of showing self-care and not being financially sound and just going and getting a credit card and buying a bunch of stuff and be like, oh, I bought a bunch of like designer clothes and designer shoes and self-care, making myself feel good. It's the feel good life, and buying items and racking up debt and problems like that. That's bad self-care. That's a dark area that you can go down when you are putting yourself into a financial bind. Which is
self-care. I don't feel like any part of self-care should be causing you issues later. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
Exactly.
Because true self-care is taking care of you. And if taking care of you right now is going to hurt you in like a month because you spent $400 on something you didn't need, like that's not self-care.
Yeah, because I think some people get that whole like, I gotta feel good about myself, and maybe you're gonna listen to this, you're gonna be like, I don't agree. I think bubble baths are a great thing. I'm not dissing on bubble baths, okay? I'm not dissing on having a glass of wine every once in a while.
Like you're at the store, like buy yourself something fun. Like that's
every
fine.
once in a while. I buy Naomi like a pair of pants every once in a while. I'll be like, or like a shirt that I'm like at Costco. I'm like, oh, that really cute top is only like $12. I'm gonna buy her a top. That's not self-care. That's just me caring about Naomi.
Yeah, thank you. It goes a long way. It does. No, I do think that's wise though, because there have been times, especially in our earlier part of marriage, where like I would like freak out when we didn't have money. Like if we were down to like
she'd spend it.
Little bits of money in our account, I would just like spend it. Which was weird. It like gave me some sort of sense of security. Like, well, I can still buy stuff. It's still in my account.
I don't know why we had to file bankruptcy.
That's not all my fault.
Some of mine too.
No, but I think like being, like you said, financially wise with your self-care and like taking care of, because self-care could also be saving for your retirement.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's not you now, but that's you in, 30 years.
30, 40 years, whenever you retire.
And self-care could be investing in that time when you literally won't be able to work as well as you can work now.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great form of self-care if you want to invest in your money and put it aside in a 401k.
Anything that moves you forward in the right direction, in a positive light and in a positive way, I believe is true self-care. Yeah. Anything that you're just doing for the moment to feel good, an emotional feel good, or I'm going to drink. I come back to alcohol a lot because sometimes people use alcohol as a self-care because they're having so much anxiety, stress, and depression that they're dealing with. So they turn to alcohol as the self-care. I feel good about myself because now I'm a little tipsy or I'm a little buzzed.
And I remember that my life is great.
And now I'm remembering what I missed about my old times in my life. And that's not self-care because you're waking up in the morning most likely with a hangover. You're putting yourself into a financial bind by buying alcohol that you probably can't afford. So it's like anything that you're doing, like retirement, that's such a great thing to do. Like we're thinking about needing to make sure we put aside for retirement. We're 30 years old right now. We have 2 kids, and we want to make the right decision in the long run so that we can live a happy life when we can't work, because there will be a time in our lives that we can't work. And self-care is planning for the future. Yeah. I think that's a good point.
And I still think you can have fun with your money. Like we've talked about finances before, like you can set aside fun money. Yeah. Like you can have rainy day fund money. Jeez, forget it. You know what I mean?
Fun money.
So you can still like plan for that in your budget. So those days where you really are like, you know what? I've had a hard week at work and I just want to go, do the thing. I want to go get my nails done and I want to buy a cool shirt or something, whatever. Or whatever boys do. What do you like to spend your money on, Aaron?
Beard supplies.
Beard supplies. But set that money.
Funny story. I straightened my friend's beard the other night and you Instagrammed it.
I did.
He's never had his beard straightened and I had a comb straightener. Is like a heating straightener.
And who originally used that comb straightener, Aaron?
I did.
No. Who did originally buy it?
I did.
For who?
Us.
For me.
For you, but you don't use it.
Yeah, I don't really like it.
No, you don't like it. So I use it. And then he like loved it. And I sent him a hair straightener, well, a beard straightener. It's a beard straightener with oils and stuff. And he bought one and I bought another one. So now we both like can straighten our beards.
It's really special.
And then that self-care. No, not really.
Self-care with our beards. But I think you can still buy fun stuff like that. Like, don't feel like you have to like not spend money. We're just saying like allocate your funds, spend your fun money on fun stuff that you don't really need.
Of course.
And
you sounded so cute while you talk.
Thanks.
Okay, go ahead.
And be financially wise. And
I think what we need to come back to is just letting people know that we are not against people taking like having a fun time and doing things out of the ordinary and stuff like that. It's when you let the emotional side of when you have problems and you use something else to try and fill the problem. I think that's the problem with self-care is I'm having a really, 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 really bad day. So I'm going to go binge watch a bunch of shows or I'm going to go sit in a bubble bath and try and make myself feel better when why are you at that point? Why are you feeling the way that you're feeling? And why is it making you feel that you have to do a certain thing in order to feel good when it's simply looking at what the problem is and addressing it and moving forward. Yeah. And then taking a bubble bath. Once you've dealt with the problem, because you guys, we have an autistic kid. We have 2 sons. One of them's autistic. He can't talk and he can't speak yet. And so every day is a very, very hard day for us. And if we just didn't address the stresses in our lives, we end up doing things we shouldn't do. Like what we've talked about, my self-help that I was doing for such a long time was looking at pornography. And like I've talked to you guys multiple times, I dealt with pornography. I deal with it on a daily basis. I'm doing really good, actually. Been like really good lately. And I would turn to that when life got really, really stressful, and I use it as a self-help, a self-care, and to clear my mind. And I think that's the problem people have is just because you clear the mind for a few minutes doesn't mean that's actually fixing the problem. Right?
That's true. Yeah, I like that.
Like I seriously would look at porn for like 2 minutes or 5 minutes, wherever. I don't know how long I'd look at it, but I would use it to make my mind go away from all of the problems. Mm-hmm. And when you try and run away from the problems are going to grow, people. I'm just going to like lay it out there. Your problems will just jump on top of each other. It's like when you're at work and you're working really hard and stuff like that, and you just keep getting more and more, like you work really hard and you get so many of your stuff done, and all of a sudden more stuff gets stacked onto it. If you stopped in the middle of that first half that you're doing and say, oh, I need self-care, this is too stressful, I need to step back, and you're not working all of it out, you're adding more onto it and then more onto it and more onto it. True. And then you get buried by it, and then you end up doing things you shouldn't do. Mm-hmm. So that's coming back to that point of.
Yeah. And like, I like that. It's like, well, and we, especially as Christians, we have Christ. Yeah. And I know a lot of our podcasts, we talk about Jesus, but it's true because he is literally the answer. So like when you are having those days where like, okay, like for example, my job right now, the past like month, I have been working crazy hours. Like it's just been super busy. And at the end of the week, I am exhausted. I'm tired. Yeah. And I do want to have like, I want to relax. And so I do relax. I do take that time to rest. And I do think that is a component of self-care is like, I sleep in on the weekends usually. I don't touch my phone to check my work emails. Like I totally disconnect.
You're not allowed to.
Yeah, I know.
You're not allowed to work on your computer on the weekends. I don't allow it.
Yeah. I wouldn't anyway. Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, you would.
But I do take time on the weekends to rest. And then I also take time to like read a good book. Like I love like Christian, like I don't really like to call them self-help books, but like encouraging books. Yeah. and just like spend time with Jesus on the weekends and spend time with my family. And a component of that, yes, is resting. And I take bubble baths, man. And I drink wine every once in a while.
Guys, you know how many like bath bombs I buy, like not on a weekly basis, but on a monthly basis?
Well, Fred Meyer has a beautiful display now of like
bath bombs,
20 different bath bombs.
Yeah,
and they're in different sizes and
Naomi's
smells.
like tried almost all of them.
They're fabulous. But when you're in your bubble bath, think about your life choices.
Yeah. And not just use it to drain your mind.
Yeah.
But actually think, okay, why was I dealing with that today? Why am I having this stress? Okay, while I'm enjoying my bubble bath, my bath bomb and all the little things and the candles in there, like going through the day and realizing, why did I get to that stressful moment? I think that's what we're coming down to. When you just try and hide the problems in a self-care social media post, but really you're struggling and you're just wanting to make people think that you're doing well. When you're in those moments of your bubble bath, or I listening to worship music, or I'm at the gym, I'm reflecting on what is causing the stress of the day and what can I do to fix that stress so that I don't have to have that stress anymore. And I think during this COVID time, we're seeing an influx. That's why I come back to alcohol. There's such an influx of people turning to alcohol because they're so stressed, because they have so many problems. Like I just went and saw my primary care doctor. He goes, he's like, I can't believe how many people are drinking right now. Because he's like, the average person should not drink more than 14 drinks in a whole week. And he goes, you would be surprised how many people are breaking that and going over that every single week. And sometimes in just a few days, they're breaking that drink because they're so stressed. Have so much anxiety that they turn to something to shut the mind off.
Yeah.
To think. So when you're in those moments, like your bubble bath, think of the stresses, think of the problems, and think, what can I do to fix them? And
then, not that we are like problem solvers whatsoever, but I think you can really plan out some tactics around some of those stressors. Like, for example, like our son Timmy, who's autistic, we have like a game plan and set where like, we reset the house at night. So the next morning we're avoiding that issue of chaos.
Yep.
'Cause Timmy likes things in certain places and he likes the house clean. It's great. But I don't know. And not that you can fix all of the problems that you're struggling with and the reasons you're going to some of these like self-care, like cultural suggestions, but like take the time to evaluate those things and figure out what can you do, even if it's hard, to like get ahead of it and get help. Like I like to think about the therapist that I mentioned that earlier. Like if you are struggling with something, go to counseling. And I know like COVID is hard, but there's tons of virtual counselors that you can see, and just like taking the time to talk through some of those issues will help you in the long run, even if it's painful while you're doing it. And that's self-care. Self-care is like doing some of the hard work, even if it doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly stepping forward to like a better version of you.
Exactly. And again, coming back to that, thinking about it, analyzing it, and addressing the problem. Like we said, you guys won't believe if we leave dirty dishes out or we leave a bunch of stuff out in our house. In the morning when Timmy wakes up, he gets into everything. And then the day started with us saying, Timmy, no. And Timmy doesn't like the word no.
Like every kid.
But Timmy then starts hitting himself.
Yeah.
He'll hit his head on the wall. He'll hit his head on the ground. When he starts hearing that repetitive no sound, it brings him a lot of stress and anxiety. And then that brings us stress and anxiety. And so we address it. We have addressed it by making sure his toys are in a certain spot that when he wakes up, he knows where they're at. We put his egg chair. He has a little spinny chair that we put into his room as soon as he wakes up. He opens the door. I grab his chair. I walk into his room and I set it down because he wants to start his morning spinning in circles. I don't get it. Not something I would want to do every morning and be on the teacups when I first wake up, but that's what Timmy likes to do. But we have walked through having these stressors, and me and Naomi can contest. Sometimes we have sought stress. We have sought self-help in the wrong way. Like I said, with my problems that I walk through, I would turn to things that I shouldn't turn to fill voids. And when I should be turning to God and turning to each other to walk through those situations. Yeah. So that's what I encourage you.
Also, not related to like that sort of stuff, but I do think taking care of your body is self-care.
Oh, yeah.
Like Not that I'm some gym rat, but I
You're not a gym rat.
or like some fitness expert, but I love just working out for like 30 minutes a day. And me and Aaron have been going on walks as a family.
We're starting now.
We just started. It's been 2 days.
Well, I have to. My doctor told me I needed to do more exercise. Thank you, COVID. If you didn't know, I just slapped my belly.
I hope they can hear that.
I hope they can too.
But I think, taking time and like taking care of your body. Like, what are you eating? When are you eating? Are you eating late at night? Like,
we are trying really hard to cut out food.
It's hard
at night.
Because also that is one way, like I'm not like gluttonous, but I did love me some snacks at night, and I still do. Yeah. But taking the time to just like reevaluate, why are you eating at night? Mm-hmm. Why? And it's for me, it was always just comfortable. Like, oh, well, my day is done. The kids are asleep. The house is finally quiet. I'm done with work. I'm going to eat just a crap ton of cookies just because I'm sitting here and laying down and binge watching TV.
And if you don't work out, you need to start getting into some form of workout, because the amount of stress that will come off of you when you work out is tremendous, because
even if you're just going for a walk.
Exactly, because your body releases endorphins. It's actually medically proven when you work out, your body releases endorphins that make what's the chemical compound? It's the euphoria, the feeling good feeling, and that releases, and that helps bring your stress levels down. So working out, going to a gym, or Naomi does Beachbody, or going for a walk or a run or whatever it is that you can do to work out, it will actually bring down your stress levels, which in turn help physically make you feel better, because it brings down your blood pressure, and that'll help your cholesterol levels and all these other things that are inside your body, so that you can live a long and happy life, and not a life full of your body falling apart like me.
You're doing good.
I'm taking care of my body now. I'm self-caring by making sure that I can go the distance with my family. And so
it's important.
So that's, again, doing the physical workout is a very good form of self-care.
Yeah, I know, like, my anxiety has always been really high, especially like now with COVID, and sorry, I just hit my mic.
Oh, you're good.
Working out, and just even 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, it just gives me like that extra boost, and it's really helped me a lot with my stress, and just, it's good. I like it. I think everybody should move their bodies.
And lastly, self-care that you can go for is your spiritual self-care. And when we talk about your spiritual self-care, we turn to the one that can fix all things, and that is God. That's Jesus. Jesus coming into your life and helping fix those problems and those issues, because he can fix them. He wants you to bring them to him so he can take them away from you.
Yeah.
Well, really, they've already been taken away. You just need to let them go. And so a lot of people turn towards like meditation and other forms of spirituality to fix problems, when it may be a temporary fix, but it's not the fix in the situation.
Yeah,
and I know we're biased to the situation because we are Christians and we believe in Jesus Christ and that he's our Lord and Savior. But it is true, because when I have come to God and come to the Lord in my problems, he has fixed those problems. And I come to him through worship. When I am at home and I'm at my worst and my stressfulest time, I'll pull out my guitar, I'll turn on some worship music, and I'll spend meditating in worship and having that time with him. And that fixes it. And that is true self-care, because you're coming to the one that can fix you and fix all things.
Try to fix you.
What?
Remember that song?
No.
I don't. That's the only part I know.
That whole thing. That's what you say.
It's a good song. Okay. You know it. I'll sing it to you after the podcast. Okay. You'll love it. No, I think that's good. It's definitely, we rely heavily on our relationship with Jesus to just be someone to talk to and to explain to him what we're feeling, and ask for peace over our household. We pray for peace all the time, and especially over Timmy and Marcus, and just with the chaos of this year, it's just been nice to have a relationship with Christ to just
turn to.
Yeah.
And we have a church we go to. We have a church that we go into and we're a part of, to receive that fellowship, like we talked in the last episode and stuff like that. So I encourage you, again, this is not a diss on you wanting to paint your nails and feel good and calling it self-care,
or comb your beard,
or straighten your beard, put oils, whatever, like having a little bit of fashion. And yes, you should dress appropriately. You should dress in clothes. You shouldn't be like in rags and a potato sack. Like, that's not what I'm telling you. It's the intention and what you need to do.
Yeah,
you just need to be careful of trying to use excuses. And I'm coming back to the self-care in the instance of social media, Instagram and Facebook. People post so much, I had to burp, that they're doing self-care, and they'll take a picture of them doing something. Are they really doing it? Are you really doing it? Or are you using this as a place, or you're using social media as a place to feel good from other people liking what you're doing, but you really aren't doing it? So just be careful. That was my final 2 cents. But yeah, so that is our take
on self-care
and how to be careful.
And now I'm going to go start my bubble bath.
No, she's not.
No, I'm going to go to bed.
So,
I'm tired.
You just drink coffee. How are you going to be tired?
I don't know.
Well, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Naomi.
And this has been Not Your Normal Life. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.